Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here, and welcome to another video. For the next little while at least, this is going to be the new theme for Sunday's videos. And we'll see if there's interest for it and that sort of thing, but what I want to do is show bits and pieces of what's going on in the fish room and show you small projects, not large enough to warrant their own whole video, but some small changes I'm making, in this case here, some fish that are breeding, stuff like that, and hopefully if there's interest, it will continue. The other thing I want to include in this is anything that you guys think that will kind of fit that. Either a specific fish that I have that you've seen, you want to see more of, or a small project, not necessarily a build, but something you want me to test out. Something small, just to try out in this area. If there's a lot of interest in that, and there are some requests for larger projects, the larger stuff I will put into the regular videos, but I'm going to keep this small. So these are my OB convicts. I've kept these guys, not this particular pair, but I've kept OB convicts now for a fair number of generations. And the problem with convicts is they are very aggressive. So getting a pair that stays a pair for more than a few spawns is actually really quite difficult in confined spaces. So over the last while, I've been trying to pick out fish that are less aggressive and don't beat each other up. And I think I finally might have gotten here. These guys have been together now for some time, and you can see there's no ragged fins. They don't beat each other up. There's a little bit of, showmanship between each of them, but no damage is done, and so far they're very good parents. Both of them are taking care of the fry, and this is actually one of the things I really like about the hobby. And when you see a pair of fish like this with a bunch of little babies around them, it is really cool. And it's actually the first time I ever saw a fish breed. Was in grade 4. It was the library at the school I went to. They had a pair of convicts in there, the regular wild type, and they bred, and I would go in there and sit for hours and just watch the parents take care of their fry. In those days, or at least that time, they had to separate the male out from the female while she was taking care of them. But it was just, it really stuck with me. And ever since, these guys have been one of my favorite fish. So I'm kind of glad that these are less aggressive. So what I'm going to do, this batch here, which is doing really well, you can see their little round bellies. All those little things you see floating around, by the way, are microworms. I'm feeding them microworms and ground up flake food. So I'm going to raise these guys up and see if it holds true. Obviously not every fish is going to be fine, but if I can get another pair or two off of these fry that are less aggressive, I think I might be on the right road at least. Because I would like to put these in certain situations, because when there's kids involved, seeing this sort of thing is actually really kind of cool. Being able to see mom and dad, group of fry, and they all grow up, and most importantly, with kids involved, you don't see them killing each other. This is something I really want to do. So the other thing I wanted to point out, this is the aquarium that I hooked up the new version of the leak-proof canister filter. And I'm already seeing a little bit of change in the chemistry. It's not nearly what I want it to be yet, obviously, because it takes months for these things to set up, but it is starting to do something, which is kind of cool. So anyway, this whole video is not going to be about these guys. I know I mentioned that I didn't want, or I couldn't, because of tank space, move the old rack. But I think I might have found a way of getting around that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start prepping in this video to get ready for it. And what I'm going to do is I bought a new air pump, and I'm going to hook that up, and I'm going to mount it up where it belongs to get rid of this tangle. Now I'm going to keep using this manifold because I'm not sure exactly how the rack's going to position. We're going to need lines to drop down and that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up here for now, hook up the manifold to it, just machine it a little bit for the fitting for it, and then I'm going to run it as that. And then once I move the rack, I'm going to then put a line all the way around and drop lines where I need them. So that's just to come, and that'll probably fit into this format here, just little bits and pieces like this. And it's so nice actually to get this up out of the way. I've been meaning to do that for quite some time. I mean, things get busy, and I've been actually doing a lot of renovations in the fish room, and I am going to give you guys a full tour once the rack is moved and everything's set up, and you guys can see the whole thing. So here it is without all the stuff on the front. And the other thing I did differently is I made a little extra space behind this rack. So I can actually go around to the back now and do work on things. And also, because a lot of the filtration, the underground filters are all in the back end of this, I can actually see what's going on there too, which is kind of nice. So the reason why I think I can move the large rack, the final rack, it's not that I've miraculously acquired new space somehow, but there is one thing that I'm doing in the fish room that's just for my own personal use, and that is the 7-foot mud guppy tank. So what I've decided to do is to postpone that a little bit. Oh, hold on a sec. Remember the small lids I made, the ones that don't seem to warp at all? Well, I need some that are 2 feet long to fit across these larger tanks. So I'm trying this out. I'm not sure how well they're going to work yet. But they're 2 feet, but they're very narrow. So they're, again, modular, but hopefully they won't sag and all the stuff that usually happens with acrylic over time. Because I find these vertical ones are fine. They don't tend to do anything at all. But once you lay them horizontally, like these things here, they tend to have a bit of a curl to them. These ones are doing really well. I'm very pleased with them. I mean, that's the original piece that just sat there. I'm going to leave that until it does curl, see how long that takes. But so far it's been pretty good, so I'm going to just do that. And I put one over here as well. This is on the matten filter, just to cut down. You can see the splashing there. I just wanted to get rid of that as well. So I'm going to move all the mud guppies, consolidate them into some tanks, pull out the ones I want for future breeding, and then I'm going to probably have to take a lot of those anyway and put into clients' tanks when they start opening up. So I figured I might as well just do that now. And that 7-foot tank then will be free, and I should be able to fit almost all the rack there in that one. I know I wanted to keep them separate, but I'm going to need to do something about this. I have to get this project going, and it's just going to take way too long for everything to get set up. One other thing is I'm also doing is I told you I was trying to get a bunch of new plants going. And way back when I used to work in a pet store, one of the things we did when we were bored was we would take some hygrophilia and we would take a long stalk of it and partially bury it in the gravel like this. And in that case, it was just in the aquarium and not in a little tray. And just enough so that the stem was partially buried, just hold it in place, but there were leaves hopping up through the gravel, so that obviously they got light. And then what would happen is this stem, this isn't hygrophilia by the way, actually I don't even remember what it's called, but it will send up leaves. It will send up new stalks, and it's really an interesting way of propagating this. And you'll see the next clip is I think only 2 days later, and you can already see the shoots coming up, and it's kind of an interesting way of doing it. I just thought I'd show that to you. This is the first, like when I first did it, and the next clip coming up is going to be with it, like I said, 2 days later, and you can already see buds coming up. Now, this is going to be a trial video style. Definitely let me know what you think, and if you do like it, you can see the shoots right there. Definitely let me know, and of course, if you haven't yet, like and or subscribe. That'll be much appreciated. And there's one more thing I want to talk about before this ends, and that is pothos. In the thumbnail you saw there, this pothos is being an issue. Not so much in anything as far as the fish go, but it's just taking over. I mean, this root here is 8 feet long, and I've pruned off tons of this, and I'm trying to get this all cleaned out and ready for moving. And it's just like I can't pull that off the wall. So I think I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of pothos. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like this style of video, let me know for sure, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.